Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another smartphone couch video. An African American relationship dynamic that must be addressed. And people who follow me know I talk in general terms because I have supporters literally all over the planet. Not just African American men, but men from Africa, men from Asia, India. I was told recently I got a big fan base in India, Japan, Asia, China, Russia. So when I'm talking in general terms, very general. But every culture has its nuances. Every single culture got some nuances, some dynamics to it. And I wanted to address specifically an African-American relationship dynamic that has to be addressed because I'm looking at all the conversations, all the videos, all the back and forth between African-American men and women. And notice I keep saying African-American. And if I say black, I still mean African-American because I haven't seen this same back and forth with individuals who are from the African continent and or individuals from the Caribbean. I haven't seen it. Yeah, everybody got their stuff, but this is something very specific because I've seen this specifically with African American women predominantly. Every now and then I might see it with other women from other groups, but never to the same extent. And it's a very simple dynamic. Many of the sisters will go for the guys who are fine, fun, exciting and stuff. I emphasize the word fine. That's why I've had some criticism of the so-called black pill community. Everything they talk is nothing new in the African American community. We've been that way. I've shared examples from magazines going back to the 70s. But they going for the fine, fun guy, right? Ignoring the more responsible guy who might not be like busted or anything, but might be more responsible or something. They ain't husband cute. I mean, they ain't sexy fine, more like husband cute. Shout out Nicole Michelle. Ain't the same thing. And then when they get dogged or they find out they didn't go beyond the surface, or when they want that fine and fun man, fine, exciting man to get into some deeper stuff, he ain't ready. He is not ready. They ain't going below the surface. And this is stuff I talked about on my woman's channel. I've told the women that several times on my woman's channel. I say, hey, you got to scratch below the surface and stuff. And that's for any woman, really. Years ago, I had addressed these issues. Years ago, I had addressed the issues and stuff. But I'm seeing with all the conversations, the conversations on YouTube, but really in the real world, I keep telling you, a third of my clients are women, primarily black women. And then I know several. It's the same can play. It's almost universal. Go for that fine guy, only checking for that fine dude, right? Okay, you can understand that. And, have their good time. But then when they need that fine dude to stand up as a man, they want that more responsible. They either want him to get responsible or act like it. Or when they get dogged and, they got a little bit of emotional baggage, hell, even some PTSD, all of a sudden they checking out that responsible brother. But it don't stop there. Those responsible brothers, they were rejected by those same women when they were younger. So what they do when they get their stuff together? Passports. Remember, I've never said anything against the passport brothers. I've never said one word. All I said to them was when they go overseas, watch out for the women trying to play them. I said learn the culture. Because I know some personally. They would learn the culture, learn the language, and they stay away from the tourist areas. But just the fact, and really, this ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new because I was going to talk about this around 2000, the Passport Brothers around 2003. From what would be considered a passport brother. We were going to use the term global brother. right? And I'm like, why is this? But then it's another thing. Those same responsible men, if they don't go overseas, they'll get a woman of another race. Or if they do get a black woman, they'll get one. I know a few. I know quite a few close friends. Shoot, they just get a woman from Africa. But they will leave the African American woman alone. But why is that? It's that dynamic, and it got to be addressed. I've seen it. I've done the seminars with women. You know, one seminar I was doing, there was a group of men on a panel. Group of men, black men on a panel, mostly black women in the audience. One actually stood up and said, well, these ain't men, these ain't this or that. And then we broke it down, you know, questioned her, dug into it, found out, oh, they weren't fine to her. And I'm like, this woman's supposed to be older and stuff. Yet her son, this is an older woman saying it, yet her son was like in his late 20s still living at home. But he was supposedly better than these other guys who up there taking time out their day to actually solve a problem. Oh, I got so many. I've seen this. And it's always that same pattern. It's always that same pattern. You know, you go for the fine dude and all of that. You know, go for that fine dude and you understand that. But then when he dogs them out and everything, all of a sudden looking for that, either asking why doesn't that fine dude have good character, or go for the guy who got character who really wasn't that bad, but then get mad when that man who had the character you didn't want to deal with him is dealing with women of another race who can appreciate who he is. And that's one thing I would say to one, in general, responsible men everywhere, regardless of race. And then responsible men, particularly within the black community. Go where you celebrate it. If you can find a sister who celebrates you, definitely. And you do have some that will look more for your character. But unfortunately, they're not in the majority. But that's a dynamic that has to be talked about, because I see the back and forth all the time. And this is part of it. I'm going to be real with y'all. This is part of the reason I don't really get into it like that. Because these conversations that are being have now, I've sat on panels in the late 90s and early 2000s, academic panels. Like I said, Rom's got degrees behind his name. In fact, my book, Nice Guys and Players, is actually a book required reading in at a HBCU somewhere back around 2002. I forgot the exact name of it. I think it was in Ohio or something. I was like, damn, it's on a curriculum. You know, like I said, I sat on a panel with PhDs talking about it. It was like an academic conference talking about relationships. And it still come down to the same goddamn thing. You know, all this other stuff. Well, the brothers ain't making money. There's some brothers making money. There's the statistics are there. They ain't all broke. You know, about 6 out of 10 in the middle class. So you got some in there, whether they professional or blue collar. A lot of brothers gotten some money out here, you know. But according to a lot of sisters, might not want to deal with them because, well, they ain't fine, or whatever's considered fine, you know. And let's be real, what's the fine? Either some mandingo motherfucking brother, or you know, he got to be, you know, that chocolate brother, real muscular, got a good height, all that shit, you know, nice print. Or some light complexion brother with that good hair. So it's usually one or the other. Usually, let's just be real. Let's just keep it a buck. Because I've talked to too many sisters. Like I said, 1/3 of my clients are women. You know, it was like, and they'd be like, hey, where are the men? Where are the men? And you talk to them and they running into plenty, getting plenty. I witnessed some of them getting plenty of attention from men. So I'm like, what's the problem? Oh, you don't think they're fine. Okay. All right. Regardless of what they look like. You know? But this ain't to go in on anybody. This ain't to go in. This is just pointing out the reality. The reality that has to be addressed. Now, in this video, you know what? You know, usually I'm go for solutions, but it got to be a serious conversation. I'm just putting the shit out there. Seriously. Any men, any women who content creators, who black women, African-American women content creators, just call that out, okay? Because, you know, even the ones talking about money, I was like, there's plenty of dudes with money. You know you don't want him because he ain't fine. Come on. Seriously. There's plenty of brothers out there got money, got homes, got homes. In fact, oh, damn, where's that thing? It's somewhere downstairs. There was a video. It was someone that did something. I can't remember the name of it, but his brother did like a documentary. He was interviewing some. He was interviewing some black men specifically. Damn, I can't think of the name of it. Who were qualified but single. Qualified but single. I think that was it. If I can think of the title of that thing, I'll put it in the description box. But these brothers had something. And now I remember watching that video with this young lady I was dating at the time. And I said, all I did was just say, well, okay, tell me which one you think is fine. All the brothers interviewed, she thought one was fine. I was like, okay. But they were qualified, all that stuff. Sisters might go and say, well, the brothers don't have money. No, the ones you consider fine don't have money. All right? So, but that's fair. Get what you want, but then don't get mad. See, an issue is another thing that has to be addressed. Why get mad if these brothers just say, okay, we going to go on? Now, an argument some sisters will have is, well, they shouldn't bash us. Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I tell them, don't bash, but don't get mad at them anyway. Don't get mad at them anyway. Because even with that passport brother thing, I think it's bullshit any sisters getting mad at him. I think it's bullshit, straight bullshit. The reason why is, ask yourself, if that brother is right in front of you, would you want him? In fact, that's a challenge I had with sisters way back in the day. Way back in the day. The challenge, and it wasn't about the passport brothers, but brothers who getting with white women or Asian women, Hispanic women, or other races. I would ask the sister. I say, okay, well, other brother, I was on a date with this sister. We driving along. She sees this brother with a white woman, and she's sucking her teeth. I can't stand that. I said, if the brother was single by himself, would you give him the time of day? And she had to say, she said it in a low voice. I was like, say that again. She was like, no. I was like, what's the point? I've had several black women there. I was like, I had one who actually came back to me and said, Rom, I finally saw one who looked good. Okay, finally, okay. That's one out of what? 150? I was like, come on. Seriously, it's that whole thing. And I'm going to tell you what. Wait, hold on a second. Sorry about that. Look, I ain't the first one to talk about it. In this book right here, I've talked about this before, in Search of Goodpussy. I'll put a link in the description box. The author, Donald Spears. Let me find that chapter. Shoot. Hold up. Let me find that chapter. You can tell this book has gotten a workout. Hold up. Where's that chapter at? Where's that chapter at? Because he talked about it. Oh, yeah. Here we go. What is it? Riding fine, dressing fine, and talking fine. He addressed that issue. Publication date 1991. Oh, shoot. Oh, money issues in black male-female relationships. This was published in the 90s. And he talked about how women, specifically black women, having a problem choosing between a good boyfriend and a good husband. Because that's the thing. That gets down to that fun and excitement thing I was just talking about. Because it's coming down to that. So I ain't the first person to point that out. But see, those things ain't discussed. I'll put a link for both of those in the description box. But it's a serious thing. It's a serious thing that gotta be addressed. Because the dudes are there. Like I say, the passport brother thing. I've been seeing some videos, women talking shit about them. I'm like, well, what? Would you want those brothers? If you don't, just let them go. No brothers who going for interracial relationships, let them go. Only agreement I have is don't bash you, just go. That's the only thing. That's the only agreement I have. And this ain't bashing, but it's like, actually, this video was inspired because another, in my view, very attractive black woman. She's actually cool people. But found out the hard way, her fine man wasn't shit. He wasn't a man the way he should have stood up to be. You know? And I was like, well, why did you go for that guy? You know? It was like, oh, he was fine. I actually knew her sister. She said she got this guy, couple babies by a crazy guy. And she was like, because he was fine, Rom. He was fine. She was at least honest about her shit. And, you know, it's a problem that must be addressed, because it's like, if you don't feel like the men are fine, if the women don't feel like, just say that. And then let the brothers go who you don't consider fine. And then figure out how you're going to share the ones you consider fine. But at least talk, but just be honest with it. Don't expect that brother who you let him know, okay, he wasn't fine enough to just hang around. Because that's the biggest thing. I've talked about that before, just that whole rejection thing. So let them go where they celebrate it. You know? Because if people talking seriously trying to fix the issues, and that's where I look more, we got to have a conversation about everything, a blunt conversation about everything. Like I said, that's the whole reason of this video. I'm just putting this shit out there. If anybody want to get me on a panel or something to discuss it, let's go. I'm bringing Professor Rom, though. I'll bring Professor Rom, because it's a serious issue. It's a serious issue, because I'm going to tell you what it is with me. I'm, by nature, anybody who knows me and really talk with me, they know I'm really blunt. I'm blunt and direct. I really am. If I don't want to say something about something, I just won't say it. I won't talk around it. I just won't say it. You know? So if I open my mouth, I need to say it. Now, I avoided that because, like I said, my fan base, dudes supporting me all over the world. So I'm going to talk in general terms. And yeah, there's some issues with women in all cultures. But that'll take care of itself. And they need to address that. But if we're going to specifically talk about African-American women, you know, and African-American men, you know, you got some of these more conscious type of brothers talking about, okay, we got to get together, all of that. Okay, address the issue. Address the issue. That's it. Seriously. Address that issue. Address why it's there. You know, let's get into it. Why is it even there? Because in other cultures, yeah, women like foreign, you know, women like guys who are attractive, but they also looking at what else are they bringing? Practical. In fact, some Africans have told me, it's like, love, shit, they want to make sure the bill's paid. Seriously. Shit, it's more pragmatic. Most of the world, really. It's more pragmatic. You know, it is what it is now. Because if you're going to really talk, you gotta address all the dynamics. So, like I said, the sole purpose of this video is just to put it out there, just to put the issue out there, because I'm just starting a discussion. And some other, I'm gonna tell you what, some other brothers have brought it up, but you know, somebody ain't want to listen to them. In fact, if I get any criticism from women about this, hey, you ain't all that, you ain't. You prove my point. Shit. Let somebody like Derek Jackson say the exact same thing, or Boris Kojo. So I'm just saying, though. Seriously. I mean, I'm laughing about it, but if we talking some serious stuff, and seriously, and like I said, I really was inspired because I've been talking to some black women. They ain't bad. You talk to them, they're cool peoples, good women and shit. They, you know, but their choices. I even had one sister, we having a conversation, she addressed it. She said, you know, we making some bad choices. You know, we're making some bad choices. So that's the conversation that gotta be had. That gotta be the conversation. Cause you want your mate to look nice, but shit, let's just be real. Cause I've talked to some of the women, they'll say some of the guys that they rejecting don't look bad. You know, but might not have that or something. You know, but I'm like, okay, you talking a relationship. You know, if you're talking one night stand, okay, get what you want that. But if you're talking a relationship, you're talking about building a family, you're talking about somebody who gives a shit about you. Well, you need to address these issues. All right? Seriously. Like I said, y'all know me, I don't really get specifically into that discussion. But you know, I'm seeing too many. I'm gonna be real. I'm seeing too many men hurt, black men hurt. Seeing too many black women hurt. Honestly, you know, I'm seeing too many bullshit discussions. And when I say bullshit, it's like, don't complain about these guys going overseas and getting a woman of another race. So it's like they were rejected. It's just that simple. They was just shit. People go where people go where they accept it. That's just the bottom line. All right. So, you know, don't say where the men at. It was like you passed over something. Over some bullshit. Not that they bums. I wish it was just that simple. Be some guys got something. And that movie, I think it was called Qualified Yet Single. I'll put a link to it. I'm gonna figure it out. Once I'm, you know, when it's published, I will find that shit. So anyway, that's all I got for now, y'all. But seriously, this is just the start of conversation, spark a conversation. All right, you know. Anyway, I get back with y'all. Peace.